even know what's happening. You don't even know. Hi. Good morning. Good morning.
Elysia and I have been working tirelessly around the clock trying to get 2 room reveals, the epic room reveals done, and try to get our horses out in this amazing half section of the first pasture.
So as Jeremy Clarkson would say, I did a thing.
You did do a thing.
I have been waiting, as you know, since we actually placed our deposit down for our horses and purchased our horses. You know that they came about 5 months earlier. They weren't supposed to arrive until the middle of April. And we are now, in hindsight, so thankful and grateful in every possible way that we got them early, because I can't imagine that we would have missed out on the last 5, almost 6 months of bonding with these babies. Like, they are only just over a year now, and that would have been like really critical bonding time that we would have missed out on. So everything happens for a reason, and I always say, like, sometimes in that moment you don't know what the reason is, and it was so stressful in that moment thinking, oh my gosh, how are in the middle of winter are we gonna get anything even temporary in a spot for them? And there were so many things to get together last second that we thought we would have a long time to prepare for. And they arrived early, and it was the best thing we've ever done. So now that the weather is nice and we've been able to dig out holes, you saw in about maybe 2.5 weeks ago, we had all of the holes done. And Philip was working tirelessly, harvesting all of the logs to be able to do the posts and the slats. And we kind of made some changes along the way now that we know that my surgery is coming up Monday. So our goal was to be able to have our babies out by Monday, at least in, we're gonna call like half pasture number 1. And so Philip and the boys worked tirelessly the other day, all day, while I worked on inside projects and got all of the posts done on this entire side down to the driveway. And Philip got all the tops cut, and they got all the boards. Philip literally worked all day the other day while I was working in the craft studio room to get all the slats on this board. And it was maybe like 4 o'clock that day, and I was like, let's just finish the other side before dark. And so we hustled, and we got all the rest of those posts in and all the slats on the far side, really beautifully kind of lined along the brook. And we got it done before dark. Like bug hats, I'm talking like swarmed with bugs. It was not even, it was so hot that day.
Yeah, it was.
And we just plunged through and got that portion done. So I want to show you a little tour of this half side, which they're gonna get out in today.
No way.
Today.
No way.
And then while I'm off next week, and after a few days after my surgery, the boys are gonna start working on the second half of paddock number 1.
Heck yeah, we are.
This is where they're gonna get to go. So I want to show you a few temporary things.
Oh, we have to tell them about the canopy too.
Oh yeah, that's right. You always see that we walk the horses out from the mini barn, which is their temporary barn, to this little gate. This was our temporary round pen, which will now be like a training area. They could go in it whenever they want, but it will be just for doing like one-on-one horse training with them. So this has been their temporary spot for the last several months. And thank goodness they were babies, and they have been quite content in this area, but we want them to have more room. So just for orientation purposes on where this is, that's the front gate for the round pen that you always see us leaning against.
Yeah, here, I'll move back so I can do a tour. So we're like, typically we walk in here, into the round pen, and now...
So this area here, all of our fence areas are approximately 8 feet apart, but this area is quite a bit larger. I would say it's closer to 16 feet. This is gonna be a huge double wide gate.
Yeah.
So we can get into pasture number 1 and get to the round pen, and eventually behind where Philip's standing will be our barn, our stable barn. So this is gonna be 2 gates, basically like the front of the driveway. So you're gonna come in here, and then you can either go do some training. They'll be able to get let out in this left side of the paddock when the boys finish it in the next week or so.
The left side.
All perimeter of the actual forest woods there, all the way to the garage, down the driveway, and like back around and behind, okay? So then, we were gonna leave this completely open, so it was just one big paddock. But since we're doing this so they can have a half paddock, we've decided to put a temporary gate here, which I think we actually might end up leaving.
Yeah.
Because it would be nice if we have to keep them on this side for a week and let this grow.
To be perfectly honest, any emergency purposes and also pasture control, because you don't want your pasture to get overeaten. Right. And so
in the meantime, before we get like a second pasture built, I think the best idea is to have like 2 sections of pasture number 1, right?
Right.
So this is going to be a gate.
Right.
Gate. Just a one-door swing gate. Okay. Come into my pasture.
I'm coming in.
Okay.
Don't trip on the wood.
This morning, you can see, we had
Okay.
a massive skid.
No,
I got in trouble this morning.
Yeah, totally. Because I was still sleeping, and early in the morning, I woke up to some rustling of the wood we have a patio door on our bedroom.
A skid like this tall.
Yeah, there was a massive skid of wood here, and I woke up and there's no wood anymore because Elysia woke up early.
Oh, yeah. Look, I moved all the wood.
And she moved
Sneaky.
all that wood by herself.
This is what we have left to move, just a few 2x4s, but we wanted to show what this is going to be like. So this is going to get moved right now, and Philip has 2 more stump logs to pull out with the quads, and then we can bring the horses in. So this is going to be the first half of paddock number 1. So we go all the way to the end. So you get to look over the beautiful brook spot here, and we've just curved and had it go around this tree area here. We did not want to sacrifice any trees on the property of what surrounds like our beautiful area, because unfortunately we have already lost a couple trees because of the hurricane that we were so sad we lost. We didn't want to move or trim up or alter any of these beautiful growing trees at all to make the pasture.
No.
And they do create beautiful morning shade over here too, like
yeah,
help with
and
that.
in the afternoon, yeah, for sure.
So this area here, you'll notice that all of our boards on our ends are all cut off, but here they're not on this side. And that's because these 4 boards right here are actually temporary. This is going to be a gate so that we can get over to our little seating area and stuff.
It's going to be like a double gate.
Yeah, we always sit and enjoy and like go fishing and paddleboarding and all that. So we did not have the area behind here that the horses can go. So we can leave furniture out there and gear and things that we don't want to slug like through the pasture from the garage all the time. We sit there every day, Philip and I, and have like our little YouTube meetings, our morning tea. Sometimes we have lunch breaks there. So this will be a gate to be able to get to that area. And it's big enough for quads to go through. Or
future over there, we want to do a paddleboard caddy. We want to do a little seating area.
So many plans for this.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
So this is just temporary, so that right now, obviously, they can't just leave this half paddock that we're making them. So these are they're not cut. We just fired them on, so they were there. But this is going to give them a ton of room for the next week, in addition to that we can have them in the round pen if we need to. We know, we've gotten a lot of comments, so I just wanted to address this so that everyone knows we know that we have to slowly transition them to the paddock. They can't just come in here and have like free graze for hours on an end. So we are going to need to make use of the round pen to keep them off of the grass eating area and integrate them in. They've been getting some grasses, but they need to have short periods of time over the next couple of weeks to transition them into forage on their own. So there's a few things missing from this area. We obviously need to have a water trough area set up for them, and we need to create some shade. So we thought, how are we going to do that, by this week? Because we're really are running out of time. Like, it's Thursday, my surgery's Monday, first thing Monday morning, and Friday I have to go for tests in the day. So we literally have tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday's Father's Day, and we want them to be out. We came up with the best solution for right now for us to be able to create some shade, and we picked up some sunshade sails, which I think are going to actually work out really well. We actually got them for an incredible price. They were almost half of what we thought they were going to be, which is nice. So we actually got 2. One will go on the other side of the paddock that they haven't actually built up yet, and one will go on this side. So Philip's idea is to hang them here. It's a great big 12 or 16 foot, I forget, triangle that will create some morning shade here. I think it's going to give us at least some kind of a shade option in the time being of figuring out what else, because anything else that would be bigger than that, we would need a permit for to build, which we can't get before Monday.
So right behind Elysia is where the sun rises. So this is east, and then so they'll have basically shade all morning until the afternoon, depending on how high and how low we can adjust the shade sail. We're hoping to get mostly half the day here shade, and then the sun sets over here, which is the west, and it kind of blocks behind those trees around 5 o'clock and down, and then they have nice shade all on this half side here. So we're kind of covered on both ends if we just put the sail up here, and then the other sail is going to go over on the other half of paddock 1. when
the
we're...
wood shelter will not be there. The wood shelter is moving because eventually our barn will be on that side.
Yeah.
We're just working through a whole bunch of stages that we need to for the barn in order to even get to the permit process. There's some things that we need to figure out in terms of property things before we can even get the permit. So we're having a little bit of like stages that we have to go through. So we're working on that over the course of the summer, and fingers crossed we can get all those finished before September so that we can break ground on the barn, if not sooner, but fingers crossed. And so right now you see that all of the wood that we're using for the fencing is the raw wood, and it's going to be like that for a couple weeks until I'm capable of coming out and painting the fencing. But it will all be white, just like the front. I think there's nothing more beautiful than having the white fencing around the horses, and I think that even if I have to touch it up every couple years, I'm totally okay with it, and it's worth it for the aesthetic look of what it's going to look like. And I'm envisioning holiday wreaths or garland down the side. It's gonna be so beautiful when the snow starts to fly. I'm not talking about winter, W season.
I heard you, garland draping, 2 wreaths on the front, Christmas music, snow flying. Where are you? It's not even summer yet, hon. What about the beach?
I think it's gonna look like Hallmark Christmas with the horses inside.
Like Hallmark Christmas.
Stay tuned for the English family holiday card.
Fun snow trip.
Sunshade sale. We picked these up at just a local hardware store. This is why I have you.
What?
I mean, there's many reasons
What?
I have you.
Because I read the instructions?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
YouTube
I'm getting
family.
put on blast. Oh,
Last night. Okay. I'm working my tail off last night, trying to get this room
so
reveal done.
embarrassing.
And I'm building cabinets to put on the wall. Well, Elysia was in the other room. She grabbed all the instructions. I'm not talking just
I was
one.
burning the cardboard so that we didn't have
She burned
a
my
mess.
template that I need to use to put the cabinet on the wall. So I can't even put the cabinet on the wall. I have to make it. Thanks, hon. I have to make a template. You gotta be kidding me. She hates instructions. She can't follow them. No, she cannot follow
I
them.
can build a cabinet completely from scratch. Give me some wood, I will build you a cabinet. Give me IKEA directions for a cabinet, and I will have Philip do it. The original idea in one of the room reveals we're working on right now was that I was going to build some custom cabinetry. And because we didn't know when my surgery was going to be, and we found out that, my surgery was going to be only coming in a couple of days, we decided to purchase some boxed cabinetry to be able to use instead. We wanted to make sure we had this room done before I went in, and so that was basically the solution to that. And I built lots of custom cabinetry in the house, and so I didn't feel too bad going and purchasing something.
The price
problem
of
is-
the cabinet would have
Yeah.
been the same price as if we
spent the time to build
Time
it.
to
And it
make
was
it.
ultimately the same look of what I would want to
the
build.
exact same.
And I was going to be using plywood. I couldn't even find the wood to source exactly what I wanted to be able to build this type of cabinetry. And then, especially where we live, things can be quite delayed for getting things delivered, even like hardware. Or as you can see, we sometimes have trouble even getting the right types of lumber that we need. This was the best solution, but I burnt the direction. thought the triangle was gonna be twice as big.
Up ball on one pole
Okay.
or 2 poles, and then have it kind of on an angle.
Okay. It's not sunny today.
It's not going up today. It will be beautiful, but not today.
Are you guys ready?
Let's
your
go.
very first walk to your first paddock. They just woke up. You're not coming to my level of excitement, Hudson. You ready?
Come on. Come on, Milton.
Where are you, big guy? I know, look. Look at all the beautiful flowers. Want to go see? Come on.
Come on, London. Good girl.
Look, London girl. So fun.
This is a good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow.
Hi, girl. What do you think? Hi, what do you think? I know. Isn't it great?
This morning has so clear a light as any to see the horizon in the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was is a
So this has honestly been like one of the most amazing days of my entire life. Obviously, we've had a lot of amazing milestones over the years, like having our children and different, relationship milestones that Philip and I have had, and amazing things that our kids have accomplished and things that we've all accomplished together as a family. But this has just been an absolute dream come true, having the horses, and I can't even express to you how much joy and happiness it brings me. Me specifically, honestly, I feel like having horses has completely changed my life. And it's one of those things that people say, why did you get horses? And honestly, I had never really been around horses much. I was with horses a few times as a kid. Philip went to like horse camps and things, but this is just something that I really wanted to do, and I have not regretted it for 1 second. And honestly, I feel like having the horses has completely just like healed my heart and soul. Like, everyone has things that they struggle with, and, different things in life that haven't always been easy. And since having the horses, I've found that just my inner peace is like completely calm, and everything is just amazing. So I'm so proud of them today. And this was just an incredible milestone to get them out in their first paddock space.